Okay, this is task 6, last part of the assignment. Very similar to what you did in task 3 for the roasting business. So what we're doing is just grabbing all of the various components that you did in the last task, adding them all together. So for instance, all the variable pieces are in this column. We add them all up to see what the total variable cost is under this method. For fixed, same idea. And then under linear regression, we're doing the same thing, variable and fixed. And then I want you to analyze if there's any differences and which method. So you should have linear regression typed in there as your technique because it's the most precise method. If you can do it, you should use it. We have a few, this yellow area to complete. I've done some for you. So this was the average sales price using both methods that came from task 5 down here. Let me show you. So up here for sales came from the slope. So there's no intercept in this because if you don't sell any items, you're not going to make any revenue. So that's what you see there is the price that you get, the revenue you get every time you sell a unit. So that's where that came from. And then I also did cost of goods sold. Remember, this is the one that's just slightly different because this is less than 1. So it's giving us a difference in both the variable piece and the fixed piece. So I pulled those across right here, and there's, yes, a slight difference. So here, no, there's no difference. Here, yes, there's a slight difference. So let's go ahead and pick up the rest of them. Equals payroll. So go back to task 5 and click on the payroll variable cost right there. Just click that, then hit enter, brings it back. Here, equals, go back over, get the fixed right there, hit enter, click on it, hit enter. And these are the same because the R squared on that was 1, so you can just copy them over. Okay, let's do promotion and selling, variable, and let's get the fixed. So again, the R squared is 1, so we can just copy those over. Equals internet and utilities. So it's this one. Get the fixed. Bring it over. The R squared there was 1, so you just copy. Waste removal. That's R squared of 1. Repairs and maintenance. These are all R squared of 1s, so it makes life easier on this one. Insurance. Software and web page. Same. Professional fees. So you have to put it equals, go get it. Click on it, hit enter. Same. Supplies expense. Variable. And fixed. R squared is 1, so you can copy. Office expense equals. Variable. And fixed. R squared is 1. And one more. Depreciation is all fixed. Okay. So those were all the same. They all had R squared of 1. So is there any difference? You'd say no. They're the same. And we can copy that down. We're all the same. Right? You can fix that border when you copy. Sometimes that happens. Highlight that and left border. You can put that back on. Okay. All right. So Moving on to the last part here, what you want to do now that you've got your totals is anchor them in using the linear regression results. That's the fixed total per month. And this is the variable cost per unit. That's a weighted average unit. Leave that blank for now. So this is the model. The total cost for this company, for this aspect of the company, the segment, the cafe, is fixed costs of $14,584, and the variable costs are $296 per unit. So every time you make a sale, that's your average cost of sales. And includes all the SG&A and the cost of goods sold expenses. It's going to be really cool for us in the next assignment because now that we have that information, we can then answer and ask questions about, what volume do we have to sell in order to break even? And so in other words, we want to generate enough in what we call contribution margin to cover that fixed cost. And so that's where we're headed with this. We're going to use this data to help us answer some of those more complex questions. So the last part, I wanted you to get just a little bit of experience seeing how you'd use this cost curve for budgeting. And we're going to do that in a few weeks after we get through next week. Then we start budgeting. I think we have a test first, but then we start budgeting. And we use these cost curves. They're going to come in really handy for helping you project out what the cost should be for the year to develop the budget. So I'm asking you, what would the total cost be if the average number of units sold was 14,000? So you just type 14,000 in there, hit enter, and it's giving you the answer of 56,061.31. So that's what you should have for a total cost. If your template has a little bit different number here, that's okay. When I first did the template, I just entered some of these as like that. I think I entered 50 bucks. So you might get a slight difference, maybe $1 off or something. So we don't worry about that. It's fine. Just leave it like this and it'll be good. All right, so if you have any questions on how to complete this, we will talk more next week about how you use this data to make critical decisions for the business.